Man, we're coming out of the month of November, which we have had phenomenal fishing here in the month of November. Some days our fish have been small, some days they've been big, but the speckled trout have moved in and they're everywhere here in the marsh. We're catching them on the east side, we're catching them on the west side, all in the main canals, cuts going into the lake, and we even catching them shallow up in the marsh. November's brought us cold front after cold front. A cold front has pushed through, and as they push through, we've had a day or two of cold weather, and then it's warmed right up, the wind's laid down, and when the wind laid down, we have been catching the fish. Moving into the month of December, we're going to have all of the same thing. The cold fronts are going to push through, get colder on us. As they push through, the wind's going to pick up, it's going to start blowing out of the north, so when you come down in December, be real careful about the days when the wind's blowing out the north. When the wind blows out the north, it's going to blow all the water out the marsh, and you don't want to get stuck out in the marsh with no water and up on the mud flats. Fish right before the front, come in right after the front, a couple of days after as the wind lays down. The fish are going to be coming out. They're going to be right on the points, on the drop-offs, coming into the main canals where the water's coming out the marsh. That's where you're going to find most of these speckled trout is right on that drop-off right there, and they're going to be hitting little minnows. They're going to be hitting the shrimp coming out the marsh. And then on the same point early in the morning, you should be able to find redfish up against the grass. Right on them same points up on the flat. Where it comes out on the flat, or before it drops off, you're going to find the redfish up there with the speckled trout out on the drop-off. You know, if it's redfish you after this month, that's going to be a pretty easy task also. It should be. You know, after you fish for your speckled trout in the morning time, you're on those points fishing for them, let the sun come up high. And when the sun comes up high, go up into the flats on the side of the same canals and into the ponds, going up into the marsh where the water's real shallow. The sun's going to come up and it's going to warm that water up really fast in that shallow area. And when that water warms up, the redfish are going to move in to that shallow water to get warm, and they're following the bait fish. It's all there. The bait's going to move in there because the water's warm. The redfish are going to move in there because the water's warm, and get in there and fish them in that real skinny water. That's the funnest fishing you can have for redfish, in my opinion. Now, when you're in there fishing them on that shallow water, probably the best bait to throw them up in there is going to be like a gold spoon or a spinner bait. I would throw even just a regular jig head. You can use the Shrimp Creole color by Matrix Shad with the Vortex tail. That's going to be a great color. Glowing Chartreuse by Deadly Dudley is going to be a great color to throw up in there with them on that. Especially if your water's really clear. Now, if the water's a little dirty after the front, I would throw like a black and chartreuse or a green and chartreuse. The Frog's Breath by Deadly Dudley. All those are great colors that I like to throw. It all really depends on the water clarity or what color. The clearer the water, the clearer the bait. The darker the water, the darker the bait you want to throw at them in there. And you should have no problem filling up your box full of redfish this month. Now, you know, we didn't talk earlier about the baits to use for speckled trout. But when you're on them points in the morning time fishing for speckled trout, and some of my favorite baits is going to be throwing the voodoo shrimp. That little voodoo shrimp has been catching speckled trout all month for me. And it should continue to catch speckled trout through the month of December. It's a little bait, has a lot of great action to it. It mimics about the same size shrimp that all the fish are eating out there. As you can see when the fish are up, you'll see them running that bait up to the top of the water, and when they run it up, it's little shrimp, probably about that long is what we've been chasing coming up out the top of the water. So that voodoo shrimp matches that bait perfectly. But if you don't have any of the voodoo shrimp, really anything you can throw at them right now in a glowing chartreuse color, because the water has been really crystal clear all month, and that glowing chartreuse color has been great colors for them. And we're throwing it under a cork, about 2 foot under a cork, using a popping cork. And if you let it sit there, they haven't been hitting it. But man, as long as you pop that cork, keep that bait moving, they've been tearing it up and they cannot let it go. You know, some of my favorite areas this time of year are going to be fishing for your speckled trout and for the redfish. Are going to be areas like on the east side, like Bayou Fiddle-Lee. Bayou Blue is going to be a good area. Even Southwest Canal, Shana Bayou. All those areas are great canals to fish for your speckled trout. and your redfish. They're kind of deep canals that run through there, and they have great flats and ponds that run off into the marsh on the sides. Other places I wouldn't pass up would be just the main canal, Southwest Canal. Moving on to the west side, you got Bayou Furblon, that's really good this month, and even Southeast Canal on the east side. You'll find birds hitting all up and down these canals all morning long, so you shouldn't have any problem. Birds have been everywhere. That's been our indication of where all the fish are all month. As you continue on into the month of December, is follow the birds and you're going to find them. You know, be sure to keep up with us on how we're doing out here on the water, right on our Facebook page. Go visit my website. If you would like to come fishing with Captain, call me at my phone number or email me, and I'd be glad to take you out here fishing so you can enjoy some of this phenomenal fishing we have in the Leeville area also.